We're live. So it is August 1st, 2017.
Crazy.
And Liz just joined us too. Liz from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Hello.
I've heard of that.
Liz is an Ayurvedic
Health coach.
medicine specialist.
Health coach.
Okay, him as well.
Hey, Liz.
Hi.
I'm on the other side of the mountains in Colorado.
Oh, nice. Where? I love Colorado.
I am just north of Colorado Springs in a little beautiful town called Monument, about 45 minutes south of Denver.
Okay. Yeah, I was just there soaking a few months ago.
Cool. Well, next time you come on over. I'll cook you dinner. I like to cook.
Really? Awesome. Oh, thanks.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jonathan.
No, because I have an open invitation for about 5 years and we've never got to Colorado yet.
Well,
all the places.
If you get within a couple hundred miles of my house and I don't hear about it, I'm going to be severely offended.
You got it, man. You got it. So, folks, the whole idea of me asking Kevin today was we've all worked together for many months, and what I've learned about Kevin, I could write on the world map, because it's just a never-ending school of learning on how to do business properly in old-fashioned, old-school manners, but with modern technology. So, as Kevin calls it, high-tech, high-touch. And we just thought we'd just hang out, ask some questions, have some fun, put a couple of you guys on the spotlight, share a screen and look at your LinkedIn or something like that, and just see how best two of us could serve you in developing your business through online channels to get to online meetings.
Cool. Well, Jonathan, I want to start by saying that I love Canada. So knowing that I was going to get on this webinar with you guys this afternoon, I wore my Canada hat, which Jonathan gave me the last time I was speaking in Vancouver. And I'm wearing my t-shirt from the best Canadian rock band of all time, Rush. So I've been a massive Rush fan since the earth was cooling. So it's nice to meet you all, and thank you for spending a little bit of time with me here this afternoon. And Jonathan was very kind in his introduction. So what should we do a Q&A with you, Jonathan? You want to ask me a couple questions, or should I just go stream of consciousness?
I'm good with stream of consciousness, actually. I think that sounds awesome.
Cool. Well, I have no agenda for this call other than just to see if I can deliver value to you guys in some way. So why don't I just give you the quick 60-second background, because it'll give you context kind of on what I do. What I used to do for a living many years ago was I used to be a piano player in New York City. Completely different line of work. Never in a million years would have guessed that I'd be doing what I do now. What happened was I met my wife when she booked me to play piano at her wedding to another man. Okay? Now, we don't have time for the rest of that story, but she never married that guy, and I got married to her, and figured out very quickly that late nights and smoky bars are fun when you're young and single, not so fun when you're married. But I had to get a job. Don't have any marketable skills other than I'm a pretty good piano player, and got into sales, which, to be quite frank, a sex change would have been more in my comfort zone. Okay, got into sales, cut off my 18-inch long hair, got a briefcase, threw up every morning on my way to my first sales call because I was so scared. And then I had some mentors that taught me that long-term success in business and in sales comes down to your ability to connect with people, to sincerely and authentically connect with people. So I started studying things like Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I started studying interpersonal skills, emotional intelligence, things like that. And I was very fortunate. I went from throwing up every morning to a couple of years later, I was the top salesperson in the world for 4 different companies. So I did very well in sales. And then in 2003, through a weird chain of events, I got an invitation to get on LinkedIn 60 days after it launched. So LinkedIn launched on Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May, 2003. So it's now 14 years old. It's hard for me to believe that, but it is. And so I got on LinkedIn 60 days after it launched, and I said, oh my God, it's a Rolodex. Now, for the women on this Zoom meeting, I have to explain what a Rolodex is because I have cowboy boots older than you. But in the old days, we would have these round things that you put business cards on, and that's how you kept track of your contacts, okay? So when I looked at LinkedIn, I said, it's a Rolodex, and this is going to be a good sales tool for me because everything I do is about creating, nurturing, and deepening relationships. So I started using it. It worked very well, and then I started being asked to speak and to coach and to train on it. And then a couple of years later, I quit my job. So to catch you up, for many years now, I've been a speaker all around the world. I typically speak in about one city per week, all around the world. So on any particular day, I could be in Australia, I could be in London, I could be in Vancouver, I could be in wherever, all over the place. My business, and I think this is part of what Jonathan might want me to explain to you guys, my business has always been 99% by invitation and referral only. So I don't do any marketing or advertising. All my engagements, whether they're speaking, training, coaching, or consulting, it's all 99% inbound. I always say that I don't say that to be cocky. I say it because it's validation of everything I teach. That if you create, nurture, and deepen relationships, people want to do, we all know the expression, all things being equal, people do business with and refer business to people who they know, like, and trust. So I help individuals and organizations massively increase their know-like trust factor, or what I call the KLT factor. So that's kind of the background. That's kind of what I do. Help a lot of people make a lot of money, have a lot of fun, drink a lot of wine with my clients, take a lot of naps. That's kind of my life. I listen to a lot of opera. I hang out in mosh pits every once in a while. So that's kind of what I do. So.
And you got to see Queen last week as well, right?
I did, yeah. We saw Queen a couple of weeks ago in Denver. They were phenomenal. They were so good. Oh my gosh, I miss Freddie, but man, were they good. They were so good.
Well, wasn't it clever how they interspersed the video with him in it? I mean,
that's right. You saw them too, right?
Spooky, yeah.
So what should we do? Should I maybe pull up my screen, or can you give me control over the screen, or should I answer questions?
I will. 1 second. I'm going to make you the host.
And can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, so you are now 100% in charge.
Hey, Jonathan?
Yep.
I am.
There we go.
Can you see my LinkedIn account?
We can.
All right, cool. So let me ask you guys, everybody on the call, and I think some of you may be muted. Let me ask you, on a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being I'm not even on LinkedIn, so I must be linked out, and 10 being Kevin, I use LinkedIn all the time and I generate a tremendous amount of business from it. Is there anybody on the call that would consider themselves a 7, 8, 9, or a 10 on a scale of 0 to 10? The reason I'm asking that question is because if you all put your hands up and said, oh yeah, we're all 10s, well then I would start at the deep end of the pool and go deeper. But if you're not, we can kind of wade in a little bit. Okay. Let me just change something here. I just want to, okay, there we go. So
Kevin, could you just mute, I haven't got control. Could you mute Diane? She's moving her stuff around, or maybe Diane can mute herself.
Diane.
Hi.
Diane is very naughty.
Could you mute yourself, Diane?
Can I mute myself?
Mute, M-U-T-E.
Mute myself. I'm sorry. I can figure out where to do it.
Bottom left.
Top left.
Bottom left of the screen. I'll claim back. I'll just claim back the host.
Yeah, take it back for a second, Jonathan.
There we go. Okay, I think we're good now.
You're good?
Yeah.
Okay. So LinkedIn's a database. Currently, there's about 500 million people on LinkedIn, 2 to 5 new people every second. And it's basically, like I mentioned a few minutes ago, it's a Rolodex. So just like our parents told us many years ago, we only have one chance to make a good first impression. In 2017, it's pretty naive to think that someone that's thinking about hiring you or referring you or doing business with you in some way is not going to type your name into LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Google, not because they're trying to stalk you, but just because that's an intelligent thing to do. If I hear about some guy named Jonathan Christian and I'm thinking about hiring this guy, I'm probably going to type his name into a couple of social media platforms just so I can learn about him, right? So just like in the old days, we used to make first impressions face-to-face, well, now we make a lot of first impressions through social media. So most people's LinkedIn profiles really don't accurately reflect the value that the individual brings to the table, which is unfortunate because that could close a door before you ever even had the opportunity to, do some business together. So why don't I just take 2 or 3 minutes, because I could talk for 2 hours on this, but let's just take 2 or 3 minutes and let's just cover profile optimization real quick, okay? How to make sure your LinkedIn profile looks really good. Would that be okay, everybody? You're on mute, so could you nod or shake your head? Okay, good. So I'm going to show you a couple of my private coaching clients' LinkedIn profiles. Don't worry about what they do for a living. It doesn't matter. Everything that I teach is what I call principle-based. If you understand how the principles behind something work, well, then you can apply it. Gravity works the same way in Colorado as it does in British Columbia. It's gravity, right? It's a principle. So if you understand the principles behind things, life becomes easier. So let me show you a couple people. Start with Ludo. Ludo's a financial advisor in San Francisco. So Ludo's got a little background picture behind his picture here. A lot of people don't have anything behind here. This used to be a premium feature. Now everybody on LinkedIn has the ability to put a background picture. So he's got some mountains. That's just what he chose to do. I'll show you somebody else that's doing something a little different, just for contrast, because there's not one right way and one wrong way. There's just different ways. So Colby's got his company logo. I think he's kind of missing the boat a little bit because he has all this empty white space. I might put a URL or a phone number or something, but you get the idea. He's got a company logo. Ludo's got some mountains. So if I show you different examples, some of it will resonate with you, others will not, and you'll figure out the example I always use, because I'm a piano player, is Mozart played a piano and Billy Joel plays a piano. It's the same piano. But it's not that Billy plays it right and Mozart plays it wrong, or vice versa. Billy plays it the right way for Billy. Mozart played it the right way for Mozart. So if I show you a couple different examples of what could be done, you'll figure out what works for you. So a nice background picture, a nice headshot. If you have any letters after your name, CFP, CLU, EIEIO, whatever, you can put that after your name here. Everybody has a headline with 120 available characters. What most people do is they put their job title. And what I suggest is maximize the available space. And there's nothing wrong with putting your job title, but use the available space to create or to paint a compelling word picture. So when Ludo came to me and said, can you help me make my LinkedIn profile look good? I said, of course. And on his profile, it said financial advisor. And I said, Ludo, that doesn't tell anybody anything. You're just lumping yourself in with all these other financial advisors. So, how do you deliver value to your clients, Ludo? So we came up with senior wealth manager, helping high net worth families and successful entrepreneurs. So he's hitting his niches here with their complex financial lives. And you can always change this later. Then we get into the contact information. This is just really simple, have your email address, have your phone number. Then when we get down below that, we get into your summary. And your summary is where you have up to 2,000 available characters to explain how you deliver value. So I suggest you max it out. Use as many of the 2,000 characters as you can. So Laura is a financial advisor. So she is using almost all of the available space. And she's writing it in first person. So it feels like she's talking to you at a cocktail party. Welcome to my firm. I've spent my career. I really like this because it's so clear some of the things I can help you with. Well, there's no confusion there. Choosing the right retirement plan, maximizing your pension. So she makes it very easy for people to understand how she can deliver value. She also has certain keywords put into her LinkedIn profile, like financial and taxes. And she uses those repeatedly without it being obvious until I point it out. And that way she rises higher in the search engines, on LinkedIn, on the algorithms. She also has media put into her LinkedIn profile, white papers, Excel spreadsheets, PowerPoints, Word documents. You could even put video in there. So I typically suggest to people, why not take your iPhone, or your Android or whatever you use, and why not record a 60-second video? Hi, my name's Jonathan Christian. Thanks for looking at my LinkedIn profile for a minute or two. Let me tell you kind of how I work with my clients and maybe how I could deliver some value to you. Blah, 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 blah. All my contact information's up top. It's also down below. Hope you're having a great day. Whatever you want to say. So now it's warm, it's friendly, it's high touch. Where, keywords are good, all that's great, but nothing's going to be, if I'm looking at Liz, the health coach, right? If I'm looking at Liz and she's kind of explaining in a minute or two what she does, I'm going to feel a connection with her if I'm watching video. I'll still feel a connection with the words, but nothing's going to beat video. And if you want to get creative with it, like the plumbing lady could take, let's say, 5 or 10 of her favorite clients that really love what she does, and she could record a 10-second or a 15-second testimonial. She could give 5 or 10 of those clips to a 17-year-old with tape on his glasses and hand him a $20 bill, and you'd have a Scorsese production in an hour. So you could have a promo reel of your clients selling you to the people that are actually looking at your LinkedIn profile. And then we get down below that, we get into your work history and all that. So again, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this, but most people's LinkedIn profiles really don't reflect the value that the people bring to the table, and that you might shoot yourself in the foot and not even realize you're doing it. Jonathan, would it be okay if I gave everybody some free gifts?
My goodness, that would be awesome. Yes.
Cool. Well, for everybody, if you don't already know this, I love Jonathan, okay? He's my brother from another mother. I got the brains, but he got the looks, okay? So actually he got the brains and the looks. Because I love Jonathan, by extension, I love you guys too. So if you guys ever email me, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, all my contact information's over here on the right-hand side. So if you ever email me at kevin@kevinknebel.com and just say, hey, Kevin, I was on Jonathan's webinar. Could you send me your LinkedIn cheat sheet, which has about a dozen tips for maximizing your LinkedIn profile? And Kevin, would you also throw in all of your LinkedIn templates that you normally charge people $100 for? I'm not worried about your $100. It's not that I'm wearing 5 Rolexes or lighting cigars with $100 bills, but I haven't worried about money in a long time. Ever since I figured out a long time ago that money is nothing more than an echo of value. So when I figured that out, which wasn't rocket science, but it was for me for a while, then I just realized, okay, I'll just deliver massive value and the money will never be a problem ever again. So don't worry about, money's easy to make. It's an echo of value. So shoot me an email, kevin@kevinknebel.com. Kevin, send me your cheat sheet, send me your templates, and I'll send it all to you. And then after you apply some of my suggestions to your profile, please feel free to send me an email and say, hey, Kevin, I made some of the changes to my profile. Would you mind looking it over real quick and helping me fine tune it? It's not going to take me more than 60 or 90 seconds while I'm sitting in an airport somewhere waiting to get on a plane for me to do that. It's easy. It's not going to take me any time at all. So if you ever want me to help you tweak it and get it just the way you want it, I'm happy to do it. Not a problem at all. Okay? Does that make sense, everybody?
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
Okay. Can I shift gears for a second?
Carry on, my friend. Look at that screen, Bridget.
Say it again.
I was going to say, look at that. I was just saying to Bridget, look at the background where you're speaking there. On your the homepage cover image.
Oh, this?
Yeah. That's kind of all the screens that Bridget makes dance.
Yes. Yeah. Well, the people that make this kind of stuff work make me look good because I need all the help I can get. Okay. So this was a speaking engagement I delivered earlier this year in Disney World in Orlando. And it was for a large financial services company. Yeah, it was fun. They had snapped some good pictures. So I just threw one of them onto my LinkedIn profile.
Perfect.
I'm going to shift gears a little bit. And I'm going to show you guys, if it's okay with you, can I show you a little bit about how to maybe do a little bit of like lead generation?
That'd be awesome.
You know what? Before I do it though, let me pause for a second. Let me pull something up. And I know I mentioned that I don't do PowerPoint, or I have never done it before. So these slides, I didn't create them. My daughter created them for me 10 years ago when she was 8. Okay. All I know how to do is change the name of the city and the state and the date. Okay. So I'm going to say a couple things that are going to sound a little bit philosophical, but it would be good for you to understand where I'm coming from. I keep things very, very simple because I'm a simple guy. I'm not stupid. I just keep things really simple. So one of the things I've noticed over the 100 or 200 years that I've been alive is that if a person is good at three things, they can literally build their business to whatever size they want to build it to. Now, I'm going to say a couple things here that you're going to think that I'm being overly simplistic. You're going to think, oh no, he's exaggerating. But I'm not. I would challenge you, not in a confrontational way, but in a loving way. I would challenge you to poke a hole in what I'm about to show you. Okay? Because I haven't had anybody do it yet, but you might be the first. So assuming that you're good at what you do, I can't help you with that. I can't help Liz be a health coach. Okay? That's not my expertise. I can't help Jonathan be a marketing genius. That's not my expertise either, right? So assuming you're good at what you do, I'm going to show you something so simple that a lot of times people struggle at first to wrap their head around this, not because it's complex. They actually struggle to wrap their head around it because it's simple. And we tend to think that things need to be more difficult than they are. So assuming that Liz, let's pick on Liz. Assuming that Liz is a good health coach. She knows her stuff, okay? I will predict that there's only three things that if she gets really good at these three things, she will never, ever worry about clients. She will never worry about referrals. So this is what I teach on stages and what I teach my private coaching clients every single day. And this is how I've created over the years a 99% by invitation and referral only business. So number one, there's only three things you need to understand. Number one, you need to have the ability to find the people that you would like to do business with. Now, again, that sounds very simplistic. I'm going to show you in a couple of moments how we can do this almost down to eye color. Okay? It's going to be wild how granular we can do this. Okay? So you have to have the ability to find the people you want to do business with. By the way, did you notice that I didn't use the words that you want to sell to? There's nothing wrong with selling to people, but I want you to expand your mind a little bit more about doing business with, because in my experience, most people don't get nearly the number of referrals that they really could. So one of the things that I help a lot of people with is create very simple, mutually beneficial referral systems, so that you have a steady stream of highly qualified introductions coming in, okay? So number one, you have to be able to find the people, and I'll show you how to do this in a moment. Number two, once you find the people, and by the way, if anybody wants these slides, just email me, I'll give them to you, okay? You have to have the ability to, once you find the people you want to do business with, you have to have the ability to start a conversation with them, not a sales pitch. A conversation in a manner that does not get the door slammed in your face. This is where almost everybody innocently drops the ball. And the reason why most people drop the ball is because they're too aggressive. They're just too aggressive. Now, when I say that, sometimes people think, oh, Kevin, you're living in la la land. You have to be aggressive. And then I have to remind them. I was the top salesperson in the world for 4 different companies, including being the top salesperson in the world for an international consulting company in 15 countries. I can assure you, I understand being aggressive, okay? And there's a time and a place for that. So I'm not naive, but here's the bottom line. You are never, ever going to do business with the other person without getting a conversation started with them first. It ain't going to happen. So if that's true, then the irony is that you need to actually slow down to speed up. And I'll show you how we do that in a few seconds. So most people get the door slammed in their face because they're not starting conversations. They're starting thinly veiled and not so thinly veiled sales pitches. Okay? So once you have found the people you want to do business with, Once you've started a conversation with them in a manner that doesn't get the door slammed in your face, you're actually 2/3 of the way to the goal line already, whether you realize it or not, because you only have one more thing to do. All you have to do is have a simple way to nurture the relationship without being what I call slick, salesy, awkward, or creepy. If you can nurture that relationship without being slick, salesy, awkward, or creepy, so that they start to know you, like you, and trust you, so that when they're in a position to either do business with you or refer business to you, they actually want to do business with you or refer business to you. So let me say one or two more philosophical things. And take this in the loving way that I'm about to say it, okay? The only reason, and really hear this, the only reason why a fully functioning, rational human being would resort to what I call sales trickery or ninja moves is nothing more than they just don't have enough sincere, authentic, heart-centered conversations going with enough people at the same time. Because if they do have enough conversations going with enough people at the same time, literally, without even trying to, the law of averages will work in your favor. But most people don't understand that. So what they try to do is they try to force something to happen in a premature manner, okay? And that's what most people do all day long in sales, because they're desperate. But they're innocently desperate. They just don't understand that they need to start more conversations with more qualified prospects. Because if they do that, now I'm not saying that they shouldn't, kind of move the ball down the field and, at the appropriate time start to close the sale. I'm not saying that they shouldn't do that. But I'm using weird examples to prove my point. That if you literally had enough conversations going with enough people that are in a position to want what you have, even without even asking for the business, the law of averages would literally work in your favor, okay? So having said all that, let's go back to LinkedIn. I'm going to use that Utah lady as an example, okay? She'll be easier to use as an example, okay? So I'm going to pretend that I'm Liz, okay? Now, I would be a really homely Liz, but I'm going to pretend that I'm Liz for a couple seconds. So I get up in the morning and I say, okay, I'm a health coach. I need to find people that would be interested in hiring me to help them with their health. Is that accurate, Liz? You can just nod, okay? Do you do any work in the corporate arena? No. Okay, so you're working with individuals. Okay. So watch what I'm about to do, folks. Some of this might look a little confusing because LinkedIn has made a lot of changes in the last 6 months. A lot of people don't know that LinkedIn was bought last year by Microsoft for $26.2 billion cash, okay? So Microsoft still has LinkedIn looking like LinkedIn. It's still branded with the LinkedIn and all that, but it's owned by Microsoft. And when Microsoft buys you, there's changes coming, okay? So and some of them are good and some of them are not so good. It is what it is. You and I have no control over that. So I'm going to show you a tool that LinkedIn launched about 3 or 4 years ago called Sales Navigator. Most people are not familiar with Sales Navigator, okay? Now, I could talk about this for hours. We don't have hours. So I'm going to do this fast and dirty, okay? Everybody that's listening to me right now, think of the principles behind what I'm telling you, okay? What I'm about to show you, even though I'm going to make this real for Liz, you let the wheels in your head spin as to how you could use this in your world, okay? So I'm Liz. I wake up on Monday morning and I say to myself, I need to find some people that are going to hire me as a health coach. And I'm smart enough to know that I'm never going to have them hire me without finding them first, starting a conversation with them so that they don't slam the door in my face, and then getting them to know me, like me, and trust me, okay? Now, again, I'm doing this fast and dirty. If I had all day, I would do my full day seminar. If I had a half day, I would do it. So just, you'll track along with me. So I'm Liz. I wake up in the morning. I go over here. I click on Sales Navigator. And I say, okay, I'm not going to use this feature here, which is more organizational. I'm going to use Lead Builder, which is more individual to human beings. So when I click on Lead Builder, this is going to pull up 22 filters, okay? Hang on, you're about to fall out of your chair, okay? So here, I want you to see where it says 0 results. Liz, you're on mute, but I need to know your zip code. So can you write it on a piece of paper and just hold it up? Or unmute yourself?
Unmute.
84102.
Okay, so 84102. Now for you cool Canadians, you call it a postal code, right?
We do.
Okay, so I'm typing her zip code in here. Now I want you to watch that 0, and I'm gonna do a 100-mile search first. So right now, LinkedIn is telling me that there are 889,000, let's just round this up to 890,000 people. Within 100 miles of where Liz is sitting right now, there's about 890,000 people on LinkedIn, okay? So let's take this down to 50 miles. So we still have 811,000 because she probably lives not too far from Salt Lake City or in Salt Lake City itself, okay? So now, all I'm gonna do now is play with filters. Now, if I wanted to find, let's say, company presidents that are current presidents or former or whatever, now LinkedIn's predictive intelligence is also telling me, Kevin, we can find you presidents. But we're also seeing vice presidents, senior vice presidents, so I could click on any combination of these job titles. Liz is not looking for presidents, but I'm just showing you this feature, okay? So now, if I'm looking for anybody within 50 miles of Liz that has president in their current job title, there's 22,194 of them. If I wanted to find them in a particular industry, there's about 100 industries in here. So if I wanted to find the presidents in the banking industry, there's 942 of them. Or if I wanted to find banking and automotive. Now, so I can mix and match this until to my heart's content. If I wanted to find presidents that have been presidents for at least 10 years, if I wanted to find presidents that have companies with, let's say, 50 to 100 employees, right? Maybe your ideal client has a certain headcount, has a certain employee size. So these 22 filters are crazy powerful, okay? Crazy powerful. Let's get rid of the president. I'm going to go in a little bit different direction with Liz. Liz used the word, I think you used the word Ayurvedic before, okay? Which is an Indian term, okay? So just for fun, Liz, unmute yourself and tell me how to spell that.
Ayurvedic.
So do you see up here where it says keywords? Up here?
Yeah.
I could type any word I want to type in there. I could literally type burrito in there. I could type Denver Broncos in there. I could type, anything I want. I'm typing Ayurvedic. What this is telling me is there's 35 people within 50 miles of where Liz is sitting right now that have that word in their LinkedIn profile, okay? Now, if I were to hit save search, and I want you to hear this really clearly, if I were to hit save search right now, I'm telling LinkedIn to monitor LinkedIn every second of every minute of every hour of every day of every week of every year of every decade until the sun burns out or until I tell it to stop. LinkedIn is going to be searching every second of every day for anybody within 50 miles of that zip code that has that word in their LinkedIn profile. And when they find somebody, LinkedIn's going to shoot me an email and say, Kevin, we found another person that has that word that fits your search profile. Please click here to see who that person is. Did you guys hear what I just said?
Wow.
What I just told you is that when you know how to use this, this literally becomes a 24/7, 365 lead generation machine. So one of the things I help my clients a lot with is clarity. The more clarity you have around who would see value in what you do, the easier it's going to be to find them. So most people, they don't have a lot of clarity. Most people are, well, I'm looking for this or I'm looking for that. So part of the process is getting very clear about what a good client or referral source for you looks like. So now we've got 35 people. Let's go see who these people are. I hit search, and now it pulls up the people. Now, I have my LinkedIn settings set in such a way that these people have literally no way of knowing that I'm looking at their LinkedIn profile. It's not because I'm a creepy guy. It's just I'm just showing you how to use this, okay? LinkedIn also now gives you some information that they didn't give you 6 months ago. So now it's telling you somebody just changed jobs in the last 3 months. Well, that might be a good thing to know. It's telling you who's most active on LinkedIn because they're posting more often. It's telling you who shares a group with you or maybe went to the same college as you. It'll even tell you when they're mentioned in the news media, not on LinkedIn. It'll tell you when Summer is mentioned in her local paper or in a magazine article or in a blog post, and it'll have a link to it, okay? So this is really cool. Everybody with me so far? Now over here, I have to move this screen. Do you see where it says save as lead? So if these people, if I think these people are good prospects, I will save them as leads, which means now LinkedIn is going to monitor them 24/7, 365. So whenever Summer makes a change to her LinkedIn profile, whenever Summer posts a LinkedIn status update, whenever Summer joins a group, whenever Summer clicks the like, comment, or share button on somebody else's LinkedIn status update, I'm going to get a notification. She doesn't know that I'm getting notifications, but I'm monitoring my prospects, and I call all of those things engagement opportunities. So if I see that Summer posts a LinkedIn status update, I could go click the like button on it. And now I'm slowly coming across Summer's radar because she's going to see Kevin Knebel just liked your post. Now, she doesn't know who Kevin Knebel is yet, but that's okay. Now, let me do it totally wrong. She posts something, I click like, and then I put a comment, hey, Summer, good article. Want to hire me for as a health coach? Bad idea. Bad idea. That's when I said earlier that people are too aggressive. That's what I meant. So I often tell people, many people in business are doing what I call kissing on the first date. But they're not only kissing on the first date, they're using tongue, okay? And then they wonder why they don't get their phone calls returned. And they wonder why their emails go into a black hole. And they wonder why they never get referrals. And it's just innocent. They've just been trained. I don't know if you guys say it in Canada, but in the US, we have this thing called ABC, always be closing. And I get the psychology behind that, but I like ABC, always be connecting. Because if you're connecting with somebody, the likelihood that you will do business together is far greater than if you don't connect with them. Does that make sense, everybody? So now I look at Summer. I pull up Summer, and I ask myself, does this look like a good prospect for me? So Liz, I'm going to ask you a question. It would be good for you and for everybody else on this call to know that I never ask trick questions. Now, why am I telling you that? Because some of the questions I'm about to ask you will be so simple that you will think I'm trying to trick you. But I'm not. I'm just trying to point out how simple this really is. So I'm going to ask you a question now, Liz. If it takes you more than 1 second to answer this question, you're overthinking it, okay?
Okay.
I'm assuming that I'm you. I'm pretending that I'm you. Am I ever in 100 lifetimes ever going to do business with this woman without having a conversation with her first?
No.
That's correct. So Liz is very smart. Liz is like, that's great. You're never going to do it. That's absolutely correct, Liz. But still, having said that, most people in business are so innocently trained to be aggressive that they think, oh yeah, I'm interested in getting this lady to hire me. She'll never know that I really have this cool sales pitch. She won't know. Oh, she'll know. People are pretty smart, okay? They can see it coming a mile away. So what I teach is the art of what I call sincere, authentic, heart-centered conversations. Now that might sound a little woo-woo to some of you. Just hang in there, okay? Because you might use different words than me. Just focus on the principles. So I'm gonna tell you the message that I would send her. Now, if you've emailed me asking me for my templates, you're going to get this. It'll be in your inbox, okay? But I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. Don't worry so much about the exact words, because the way I talk might be a little bit different than the way you talk. What I want you to do, and this is going to sound weird when I say this, I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. I want you to listen to this the way you would listen to a piece of music. I want you to listen for a feeling. Because when you put on the Beatles or Mozart, you're not listening to deconstruct the melody and do a whole chord sequence analysis. You're putting it on for the feeling that it gives you. So I want you to listen to what I'm about to say. And I can tell you, after 14 years on LinkedIn, I have an 87% response rate to this message. Let me define response rate. They respond. Okay? They don't respond with, Kevin, here's a wheelbarrow full of money, let me hire you. They just respond. That's all I want. Because if they respond, then I've accomplished step 1 and step 2. Because once I get a response, we've started a conversation. I don't care if they grunt. It's a response, okay? But once I start a conversation with somebody, I'm already 2/3 of the way to the goal. Now today, I'm not going to if you have enough time to get into all the nuances of how I nurture and deepen the relationship. If we want to do that another time, we can. But I just want to show you how easy it is to start a conversation with this woman. So the first thing we do is we look at her LinkedIn profile. Summer Irvin, living, believing, achieving. I like this lady already. She's kind of cool, right? She's got a link probably to her website. I can go study her website, which will tell me more about her. To go back to Dale Carnegie, I'm taking a sincere interest in her, right? She's telling me everything I need to know to be able to start a conversation with her. But most people will never do this because most people in sales don't understand sales. The people that do the best at sales aren't the best closers. They're the people that understand human nature. That's why I studied interpersonal skills, relationship skills, emotional intelligence, because listen to this sentence. All things being equal, people do business with and refer business to people who they know, like, and trust. The sentence was not, all things being equal, people do business with and refer business to people who are really good at closing. Okay? As obvious as I'm making that sound, that goes over like almost everybody's head. Okay? So I can check out this woman's website, and she's actually telling me everything I need to know to close the deal. She just doesn't know it, right? But I don't want that to sound like I'm some weird, insincere guy. I'm not. I'm totally sincere. But your website, your LinkedIn profile, it's telling people more than you may realize it is. So I can go look at that. I can go look at how long she's been in her current role. 2 years and 8 months. What does she do? She's telling me everything. She works with high-achieving women. Achieving fulfillment, blah, blah, blah. I remember she was working full-time, attending a graduate school, Ironman. She was a high performer. Ironman triathlon. She's learning Mandarin. This is a type A kind of woman, okay? Slow down. So I can see all this. Would it be helpful for me to know all this? Yeah. I think it would. I can go and I can see, what did she do before that? Well, she was in Atlanta before that, and she was working in ops, right? Totally different line of work. It's good for me to know that. She was in Salt Lake City before that. She was in Seattle before that. So she's telling me she's an open book if I'm smart enough to read the book. Most people aren't smart enough to read the book, okay? So I can see all this. I could see where she went to school, when she went to school, what she majored in. I could see what sorority or fraternity she pledged. I mean, do you see all the information she's giving me? All this, and then somewhere in here is the word Ayurvedic. I'm not going to go find it, but it's in here because that's why she came up in the search results, right? So it's in here somewhere if I want to take the time to find it. Everybody's with me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So assuming that Liz says, yeah, this looks like somebody that maybe I could help with her health. I don't know. I'm going to give you 2 examples because it's the best. It's easiest if I give you contrast. I'm going to give you example number 1 of the message that I send her, which would be the worst message in the world I could ever send her for contrast purposes. And then I'm going to give you message number 2, which would be the real message that I would send her. By the way, I forgot to point out that she's a second-degree connection. So LinkedIn shows you, because of the way LinkedIn works, it shows you who you know that knows the person you want to meet. So it goes in 3 degrees of separation. I'm connected to Jonathan on LinkedIn. We are first-degree connections. But I don't think I'm connected to Liz. So Liz and I are probably second-degree connections. So I'm connected to Jonathan. Jonathan's connected to Liz. And Liz might be connected to the plumber lady, okay? What might be a third, so you guys get my point here, right? So if I can see that Summer and I know somebody in common, and by the way, it'll show me exactly how many people we know in common and who they are. So I can see that we have 2 shared connections. So Liz, I'm going to ask you another question. It's not a trick question. If I could see that this woman and I have 2 mutual friends, and assuming that I know one of these people really well, would it be smarter for me to approach this woman directly, which would technically be kind of a cold call, or would it be smarter for me to send a very simple non-salesy message and have it forwarded through our mutual friend with some nice words about me?
Probably forward it through the mutual friend.
Heck yeah. Liz is smart. That's exactly right, Liz. Okay. So what I want you guys to understand is what I'm explaining right now is one of the reasons why it makes sense to grow a large LinkedIn network. Because the larger your network, the greater the likelihood that there's somebody that you're connected to that is already connected to the person you want to meet. Okay. But I'm going to take worst case scenario. I'm going to pretend that there's no mutual connections. Because that 87% response rate I gave you a few moments ago is for people that I approach directly without the mutual connection. With the mutual connection, my response rate's well over 90%, as long as my message isn't a sales pitch. Okay? Everybody with me? Okay. So here's the worst message in the world I could send Summer. Hey, Summer, my name's Liz Young. I was looking at LinkedIn. You have the word Ayurvedic in your LinkedIn profile. Want to hire me as a health coach?
No.
Now, I'm going to predict that the results from that are probably not going to be good. Okay? You might get lucky every 1 in a million, but those aren't good odds. Okay? So I wouldn't send that. Let me tell you what I would send. Hey, Summer, my name is Liz Young. You don't know me from anybody, but I was playing around with LinkedIn and I noticed that we have a couple things in common. I'm all about paying it forward and I'd love to prove it to you, so I'm extending my hand in friendship. I'm connected to many people in the greater Park City area and even more people on LinkedIn, and perhaps some of the people I'm connected to might be good potential referrals or possible clients for you. If I ever could open any doors or make any introductions on your behalf, I'd be happy to discuss it with you. I also noticed that we both live in the greater Salt Lake City area, and you and I both have an interest in Ayurvedic health. Cool. If you're ever in my area, give me a shout. I'll buy the first round at Starbucks. Hope you're having a great summer. Go Broncos. Liz. Now, there's no guarantee that she's going to respond to that. But listen to this. Listen to what I'm about to say. There's no reason why a fully functioning, rational human being would not respond to that message. Okay? But what I really want you to hear is that what we're really doing right now is we're filtering. If she wouldn't even respond to that nice, kind message when I wasn't asking for one single thing, by the way, I wasn't promising anything either. If you heard my wording very carefully, I might be connected to some people who might be good potential referrals or possible clients for you. If I could ever open any doors or make any introductions on your behalf, I would be happy to discuss it with you. Not, I will drop everything going on in my life so I can make you a millionaire. Okay? I didn't promise anything. If she wouldn't even respond to that loving, warm, sincere, authentic, kind message, you try and convince me on why she's going to respond to your thinly veiled sales pitch. Let me save you time. She's not. So what I'm really doing is I'm appealing to a human being's human nature. And the best salespeople are really good at that. Okay? So all I want is a response. Because if she responds, then I will put her into my high-tech, high-touch relationship marketing system, which we don't have time to cover today. But it's a very simple system to say top of mind without ever being slick, salesy, awkward, or creepy, so that she starts to know you, like you, and trust you. And of course, you'll develop a conversation, but don't bring into the conversation what you do until the appropriate time. And that's another conversation for another day. Okay, I can give you tips on that all day long. On how do you bring into the conversation what you do, and when do you bring into the conversation what you do? That's more of an art. Liz, are you married?
No.
Okay. Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
You have a girlfriend?
No.
All right. We're gonna stop picking on Liz. We're gonna pick on Jonathan for a minute. Jonathan, I know you're married because I've met your beautiful wife, and the moment I met your wife, I said, this guy can sell, okay? Because if you got her to marry you, you could sell. So, Jonathan, I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Don't you lie to me. You tell me the truth, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you meet your wife?
Douglas Isle of Man.
When you met her, with the moment you met her, did you think she was pretty?
Yep.
In a perfect world, would you have liked to kiss her?
Not at that immediate time.
But you were attracted to her.
Oh, heck yeah.
Okay. Oh, heck yeah. Let's go with that. So
We're talking 1980 at this point.
So she was like 3. So when you were attracted to her, did you go up to her and say, boy, you are so pretty. I'm very attracted to you. I don't want to kiss you right now, but I would like to kiss you in the near future. Did you go up to her and say that?
Not in so many words. I didn't go up to her.
So why were you lying to her? Why were you being duplicitous? Why did you have some hidden agenda? And the answer is he didn't have a hidden agenda. He just was attracted to her. Now, if you understand what I'm saying right now, folks, this is an analogy or a metaphor. What people do in business all day long is they find attractive people, they run up to them, and they shove their tongue down their throat. And then they wonder why they don't have enough business, why they don't have enough referrals. Because all they're doing, and I know this is kind of a gross, graphic example, but you won't forget it. The people that do really well with the stuff I teach, I'm going to sound like Yoda for 5 seconds. I can teach you all kinds of stuff, but I will tell you what is more important than teaching you stuff. It's helping you unlearn the things that never served you to begin with. Most of my time with my clients is helping them unlearn the things that they've innocently picked up over the years that really never served them well, but they just never really thought about it, and they certainly never had another way to approach it. And my way is so simple because it's just based on being a nice human being and being a fully functioning, rational human being. So Liz already proved my point. Liz is never going to have this lady hire her unless she has a conversation with her first. So Liz's only goal, no matter how much she needs to pay the mortgage next week, Liz's only goal is to start a conversation with this woman. And if it's sincere, authentic, and heart-centered, which maybe is another webinar for another day on what does that mean, Kevin? If Liz has enough conversations going on with enough people, even without asking for the business, she's going to get the business. Because people are going to start to know Liz and like Liz and trust Liz. Because she's going to start to pay it forward a little bit and help people. So again, I'm doing this very fast, folks. But Liz is literally, to use kind of a horrible analogy, Liz is literally shooting fish in a barrel. And I don't know if that analogy carries over to Canada, but
Yeah.
all she has to do is find people, which is as easy as falling off a log. She just has to find the people that have some indicator that they're interested in health. Okay? And that's easy to do. The plumbing lady, same thing. She knows what her niche is. The guy in the UK who's probably asleep by now that's got the psychology thing going on. You know, so the principles behind what I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what you do for a living. Everybody that's on this call, you all do different things. But if you understand the principles behind what I'm showing you, this is why I started by telling you. You may think I'm being overly simplistic, but I'm not. Assuming you're good at what you do, which I can't help you with, all you need to do is have a way to find the people that you would like to work with. That comes down to clarity. Then you have to have a way to start a conversation with them in a manner that doesn't get the door slammed in your face. And that's by being a sincere, authentic, heart-centered human being and stopping trying to kiss people in the first 5 seconds. And then all you need is just a simple method or a system to stay top of mind so that they start to know you, like you, and trust you.
Yep.
I'm gonna pause right there because I've thrown a lot at you guys in the last 45 minutes or so. Any thoughts or comments you want to add to that, Jonathan, or any questions I could answer? Or, I'll throw the ball back to you.
Just a quick question somebody had. With the Sales Navigator, is that on the free platform or on the pro platform?
Yeah, it's what's called a paid product. So LinkedIn makes things more complicated than they need to be. LinkedIn has premium accounts. LinkedIn has recruiter accounts. LinkedIn has a Sales Navigator account. So the Sales Navigator is its own animal. It's not a premium account. It's a Sales Navigator account.
Okay.
I have a premium account, which gives me certain bells and whistles, and I have a Sales Navigator account, which gives me different bells and whistles. I wish LinkedIn would streamline this and just combine it and say, pay us X number of dollars a month and we'll give you everything. LinkedIn's not there yet. LinkedIn, there's some things about LinkedIn I love. There's some things about LinkedIn I hate. It is what it is.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, that was one of the questions that came through.
Cool.
How often do you post on LinkedIn yourself?
I post once a day. I post in the morning. Can I talk about that for a minute or two?
Yeah.
So now if we had a lot more time, I would probably do 30 minutes giving you a strategy of how to mine the engagement, but let me just do it in 60 seconds. I get on LinkedIn every morning and I post some form of a status update, okay? Now, based on your different roles, the people that are on this webinar, there's certain things that I would suggest you post, but we don't have time to get into that. What I do is I post something in the morning, and then later that day or the next morning when I'm about to post my next status update, I monitor the engagement. So this is what we're clicking on right here. So this is a picture that I posted on 7/28, which was, I think, 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So in the last 3 days, 18 people have clicked the like button on this picture I posted. I can see that as recently as an hour ago, there were a bunch of people that clicked the like button on a post that somebody else posted that mentioned me. I can see that 9 people posted that clicked the like button on this that I posted 2 days ago. So what I'm showing you right now is proof that when I post things, people engage with my content. So just bear with me right for a second because LinkedIn's acting a little weird. So you're seeing here like 6, 7 people click the like button on this one, right? So what I'm doing is I'm posting things and people are clicking the like button on what I post. Okay, can you still hear me okay, Jonathan?
Yep, perfect.
So watch what I'm going to do, folks. If I can see that 18 people have clicked the like button on something that I posted, I can see who every single one of those 18 people are. Okay? So now, all I have to do is just say to myself, which of these people looks like a good possible prospect for me? So I'm going to ask Liz a question again. Liz, unmute yourself. Let me just pick one at will. If I think this Bruce guy looks like a good prospect for me, am I ever going to do business with Bruce ever without having a conversation with him first?
No.
That's correct. You're a fast learner, Liz. So what should be my only goal with Bruce?
Make a connection.
Let's use the word start a conversation.
Okay.
So I would just send him a modified version of what we sent to Summer. Hey, Bruce, I noticed you clicked the like button on my picture. Thank you. I appreciate it. You probably don't know it, but I'm all about paying it forward, and I would love to prove it to you. I'm connected to many people here on LinkedIn, and perhaps some of the individuals and organizations I'm connected to might be good potential referrals or possible clients for you. If I could ever open any doors or make any introductions on your behalf, I would be happy to discuss it with you. If you're ever in Colorado, give me a shout. We'll grab a cup of coffee. Hope you're having a great summer, Kev. That's the complete polar opposite of this message. Hey, Bruce, I noticed you clicked the like button on my picture. Want to hire me? So what I teach is very simple, and it's mind-bogglingly effective. But it's actually, in some ways, the complete opposite of what many people are teaching. And I'm not saying that I'm some enlightened Buddha, because I'm not. What I'm saying is, there's no reason to make this complicated. It's really very simple. I'll say it one more time. I don't care what you do for a living. You have to have a way to find the people you want to do business with. I showed you one of many, many, many ways just by using Sales Navigator. If I wanted to find anybody, Liz, within 20 miles of you that has used the word Ayurvedic in a tweet on Twitter in the last 14 hours, I could do it. And then I would cross-reference them against their LinkedIn profile, and I'd start a conversation with them that way. If I wanted to go type Ayurvedic into Instagram and see who's hashtagging that word and see who are the people, I'm scratching the tip of the iceberg here, folks.
Yeah.
So number one, you have to have the ability to find the people. And there's tons of ways you can do that. Number two, you have to be able to start a conversation. And again, this is where almost everybody innocently drops the ball. You're just too damn aggressive. Slow down. And then number three, once you get a response, all you have to do is nurture the relationship. And it's actually so simple to do. It's so simple to do. Okay. So that's the answer to your question, Jonathan. I recommend that people post something once a day on their LinkedIn profile and then monitor the engagement and then choose to cherry pick the people that they want to start conversations with, because those are the people that they want to do business with. It's actually reversing, if you understand what I'm saying, most traditional marketing. Instead of throwing mud on the wall and hoping somebody's going to be interested in what you have, what I'm doing is I'm choosing the people that I would like to have as a client. Because I'm just monitoring. I posted this yesterday, right? Here's a bunch of people that clicked the like button on it. All I have to do is pick which one do I want as a client. Maybe I want this one as a client. Don't be fooled by the first degree. I'm connected to 25,000 people. That doesn't mean I know this woman, okay? But I'm never in 100 years ever going to do business with this woman without starting a conversation with her first. So I will slow down mentally, and I will start a sincere, authentic, heart-centered conversation. Hey, Becky, I noticed that you clicked the like button on my picture. Thanks. I'm all about paying it forward, and I'd love to prove it to you. By the way, Becky, I'm going to be speaking in Indianapolis next month. If you'd like to grab a cup of coffee, I'll buy the first round and start. It's so easy to start conversations with people when we're nice. But we're kind of not taught to be nice. We're taught to be salesy.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
So LinkedIn's come a long ways. It's kind of like a Facebook. Like, I didn't realize all this. And I I just have a basic profile that I set up, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, probably before I really even started doing Ayurvedas, when I was more in the body work. So can you do this with a basic, or do you have to upgrade to these other ones?
No, you can do a lot of what I'm showing you with the free account too.
Okay.
I just went deep down the rabbit hole on this webinar today. Right?
Okay.
But with the free account, and you're in here somewhere, but I could find, if I wanted to find you, I could find you. Okay. So what, and also what you just explained, Liz, you're just like everybody else. So everybody and their brother has a LinkedIn profile, but they have no idea what to do with it.
Yeah.
It's not because they're not smart. They just haven't been doing this every day for 14 years like I have, right? This isn't what they're not thinking about this. So what usually happens when I'm on stages in front of thousands of people, or when I'm on webinars, I do something like Jonathan asked me to do today, and people go, holy crap, I never knew that I had my hands on this. The analogy I always use is, most people think they have a rusted out 1975 Pinto in their driveway. That's LinkedIn. I show people how to use LinkedIn for an hour and they go, oh my God, I've had a Lamborghini in my driveway the whole time and I never even knew it.
Yeah.
And I say, listen to this analogy. You could starve to death at a banquet if you didn't realize you were at a banquet. You're at a banquet.
Mm.
So most people are struggling to get more business, to get more clients, and they don't realize that they already have everything they need at their fingertips. They just don't know it. So what I do is I kind of help them wake up a little bit and go, let me show you kind of how to use this Ferrari that you didn't realize you had in your driveway. Okay. Has this been helpful, folks?
Oh my goodness.
Very.
Cool. Well, that was my, I didn't really have an agenda other than to try and help you guys in some way. If anybody ever wants to go deeper into any of this, I'm always a phone call and an email away. If I could ever help you in any way, just ask.
Yeah. Do you want to just stop sharing the screen, Kev?
Want me to stop sharing it?
Yeah, just so we can see everybody again. There we go. Yay!
Mm-hmm.
So,
Do we-
Lady Jen is like mind blown already, aren't you, Jen? Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm going to start targeting real estate agents because they're the ones selling the houses with Poly B in them. And they should have inspections on their houses before they give them to their clients. And then they can give them tap to drain clubs before, as a bonus for buying a house with them.
I do a lot of work with people in real estate and mortgages and title.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely correct, Jen. That's a good place to start.
Yeah, and they're easy to connect with because they really want to talk to you anyway, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, the biggest thing that I can see is I am not a people person. Having conversations with people, I'm not. I would rather sit in my soapy kitchen all by myself. So for me, having that conversation and remembering to have the conversation, that's the biggest thing is I will make a connection on LinkedIn, we'll chat, it's all good, and then I will completely forget about them.
Jonathan could help you with that.
Yeah, and then I'll go back to it and it's like, oh yeah, oops, I forgot about that.
I have this very old school way of doing it, and you may have seen it or not. They're called Post-it notes.
Yeah.
And literally, wherever I meet people and wherever they are, I write their name down.
Yeah, I'm going to have to start doing something like that. Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned I love this guy, not in a weird way, but I love this guy.
September 2012.
Yeah, 20th of October, 2011.
Oh, that was the first visit. Okay.
29th of October, 2011 in Surrey. Yeah.
And that all happened through a mutual friend on Twitter. And then Kevin was coming up to Vancouver to speak at Hub. And we thought we could make some stuff happen if he stayed an extra day. And
yeah. It's all thin threads, right?
It's awesome.
It's all thin threads. It's all relation. I mean, let me say one more woo-woo thing. Everybody that's on this call right now, if I were to ask you what business you're in, you would probably tell me the industry you're in, right? Like Jen, you're in the plumbing industry, right? But you're really not. You're in the conversation and relationship business. And the more you understand that, because it doesn't matter how good you are at plumbing, because if you don't create conversations and relationships, you're going to be plumbing on an island somewhere with a volleyball named Wilson. Okay? So most people in business, they're good at what they do. You know, I don't need to help Liz become a health coach. She's probably already a great health coach. I don't need to help Alfred, you know, with his male modeling business. You know, I don't need to help him with that, right? I don't need to help Diane, who I only see the hair on the very tip top of her head. I don't need to help her, okay? With what they do. Well, most people don't need help getting better at their chosen profession. What most people need is just a simple reminder that you need to find the people you want to work with. You need to start a sincere, authentic, heart-centered conversation with them. And you have to get to know them, get them to know you, like you, and trust you. And the easiest way to do that is by taking a sincere interest in them and not trying to sell them something in the first 5 seconds. Because the bar is so low out there in the business world, because everybody's being pitched to 24/7. When you actually show up in a sincere, authentic, heart-centered way, you're a breath of fresh air. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean make bad business decisions. That doesn't mean give away the store. It doesn't mean be a doormat. It just means show up in a sincere, authentic, heart-centered way, and they will love you because it's such a breath of fresh air. And even if they never hire you, I could teach you my mutually beneficial referral system, and they'll still refer business to you. But that's another webinar for another day, right? I don't just look at people as prospects. Most people do. I say, no. Even if I never do business with somebody, if I can create a sincere, authentic connection with them, we could possibly discuss a mutually beneficial referral relationship. That's a really easy way to develop a 99% by invitation and referral only business. So you have more business than you can handle. That's a nice place to wake up every morning. You know, who do I want to work with today? Oh crap, I got to go work with this person because I need the money, right? So who's the guy in the red shirt that showed up?
That's Ron.
Sorry, I was a few minutes late.
And did Bridget leave us? Did she drop off?
I'm not sure. I think she just turned this camera off.
Or maybe it's Bridget. So Jonathan, I would love to come to your house and make you dinner, but I'm only going to be as close as Seattle next week. So I will wave at you. I will wave at you from a distance.
I'm already booked that day already. Shoot.
I know.
Yeah, I'm doing we have a video film session for a home improvement company. So
and it's crazy short notice. I got asked to do a conference on it, super short notice, and I'm kind of realigning some planets to make it happen. But I'm going to get to Seattle next week for a day or two. Yeah. So are we good?
2 thumbs up for me. That was awesome, my friend, as always.
Well, it's always fun to chat with you and your friends. Anybody that's a friend of yours is a friend of mine. If anybody wants, my cheat sheet and my templates, or if you want the slides I showed you today, just email me. I'll give it to you all. Shoot me a LinkedIn invitation. Connect with me on LinkedIn. If you want to become my friend on Facebook, my Facebook account is a 24/7, 365 cocktail party. It's a blast. I've treated my Facebook account from the very beginning as just a cocktail party, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
If you ever want, so I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Pinterest. I'm on 5 platforms. If you ever want to connect with me on any of them, I'd be happy to connect back with you. And if you're in Colorado, give me a shout.
I know it. I will.
Cool. All right, folks, I'm going to head out.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Kevin. That was just outstanding.
See you guys.
Thank you, my friend. Bye, everybody. Oh, Bridget's back.
Yeah.
I'll see you tomorrow, Bridget.
All right. See you then.
Yeah.
Bridget!
She's in Dallas right now.
Dallas? It's hot there.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's actually hotter in Abbotsford than it is in Dallas, Texas right now.
Is that right? Well, stay cool, Bridget. All right. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.